Hi, I'm Allison Campbell, and I am here with my friend and colleague, Malin Young. So Malin, new year, new decade.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Fresh snow.
Yes, a little cold outside. As you can see, I'm bundled up today.
Yeah, me too. You and I are going to have some new roles coming down the pike of this new year and new decade. So you're going to be taking over the Earth Biological Sciences Directorate.
Yep.
Something I think you're well suited for. But can you give me a sort of a little synopsis of your background and what you're so excited about relative to the new role?
Sure. I'm a Northwest native.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to be at PNNL because of that.
Yeah.
Grew up in Redmond on the west side. But I spent some time traveling down south, getting bachelor's degree in biology, master's degree in genetics from Oregon State University. Go Beefs. And then got a PhD in pharmaceutical chemistry from UCSF. And so my research was really on using computational biology and chemistry methods to look at protein structure and function. And so, in a way, it feels like coming to EBSD, it feels like coming home to me.
Yeah.
Because of all the work that's ongoing in the directorate about understanding the functions of biological systems. That's really right up my alley. I'm also excited to learn a lot more about the climate and earth sciences piece of the directorate because as I've had conversations with people, biology and earth sciences, it's kind of they're all intertwined, right?
Really.
So anyway, it's going to be a great 2020. I want to hear a little bit about your transition and what you're going to be up to.
Well, okay. So, I'm a chemist. And we kind of have something in common, actually. So I did a lot of my research on looking at how proteins interact with minerals, so sort of a structure function using NMR.
I knew there was something I liked about you.
None of that computation stuff, but using NMR to look at how proteins sit on mineral surfaces and then how that affects how they function. So we have some roots.
That's cool.
Together, yeah. So I'm going to move over and help the lab and our lab director, Steve, think about a coastal strategy. And from sort of two perspectives or encompassing two main pillars. One is sort of the fundamental science that occurs at the coastal system and how we can understand that to help inform models and make them more accurate in terms of their prediction. And that's right in the sweet spot of the directorate you're taking over. And the other is more in the applied energy space. How can we take advantage of coastal marine systems to harness new energy sources or get rare earth or different minerals out of the environment, those sorts of things. And so I know a fair amount about the biogeochemistry and the fundamental science side. I don't know a lot about the applied energy mission, so I'll be learning a lot. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds like we both are going to be learning a lot.
Yeah. So as you look down the road, what are you going to do when you hit the ground? What do you think you're going to, what's the approach you're going to take, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So I believe that whenever you join a new organization, the first thing that I need to do is learn as much as I can, as fast as I can. So that's what I'm really going to be focusing the first probably 3 months on. The transition period has been great in that I've been able to do some of that homework in advance. I've been able to talk to folks in the directorate and walk around the labs, but there's still a lot for me to learn.
Yeah.
I'm also, you're helping me out, going back to DOE, BER, having conversations with the team there at DOE to understand what their needs are. So going to initially learn, but I think that there's opportunity for us to refresh the strategy in the directorate. And link it closely with some of the strategic conversations that we've been having on the LLT about where we want the lab to go with an eye towards 2030. And so TBD, more to come there.
Yeah.
So I hear that you have some things that you really want to focus on in your new role. So want to share some of those things?
Yeah, sure. So it's a little different than your role in that this doesn't exist. And so I get the opportunity to sort of think about how I want to go about do things from basically a clean sheet of paper. But I took a page from your book. When you set up the lab strategy, you had 4 key elements of your lab strategy, and I really like that framework, and so I borrowed it for thinking about the coastal. And so the first thing I've done is I've assembled a team from across the laboratory. So I got representatives out of facilities, out of communications, your directorate, or EBSD, and energy and environment, and external affairs. And that will help sort of shape the, put stuff down on our blank piece of paper. But I think about the 4 elements, which are very similar to the lab strategy elements, which is first we got to figure out the science that's really going to be under this umbrella of coastal and marine, both from the fundamental but also the applied. And I think we understand the science fairly well in terms of what the needs are, but what we don't know is the interlinking between the two and how to do that. So I want to think about that. From there, then I know that Steve really expects me to come up with a facilities strategy for our Marine Sciences Laboratory over in SCWM. And so in order to come up with a meaningful strategy, you have to know what you want to do scientifically and technologically. Once we get that down, then we'll work to figure out what are the right piece parts to refresh, renew, or even have new at SCWM in terms of the capabilities we need, not just buildings, but instrumentation. And then I got to work with you and Judd to think about, okay, now we know the science that we're going, what is the gaps in expertise that we have, or where do we need to shore up bench strengths, or where do we need additional leadership? And so we need a hiring plan. And I can help identify those gaps, but you guys got to fill them through your directorates. So that's strategy, and then sort of the facilities capabilities part. Then I think we have a huge opportunity to increase the awareness of what we can do in the marine and coastal environments. We need, I'd call it an outreach and engagement plan. We need to, all the things from the tribes in the SCWM community to the community itself. We need other state stakeholders, federal stakeholders, and then just the scientific community. I think we've got a lot going on already, mostly on the applied side, but still some on our coastal fundamental. We need to get the word out. So we need a campaign about that. You know. And then the last pillar is partnerships. And we have, again, some solid ones. University of Toledo, some of the other national labs. There's probably some more that we could build on both sides, under both pillars, the applied energy and the basic science. And so, thinking about a partnership strategy with you and Judd and Tony Perong as the Deputy for Science and Technology will be fun. And so I end with partnerships because I think the key to my role and the success of my role will be partnering with you and Judd and Tony in particular to realize what we've got to do. Because while I can think about the strategy, it's going to be executed through your directorates. And so I'm excited about that because I think we work great together. Since you hit PNNL, I've enjoyed working with you and learning.
Back at you.
Teasing you about the Civil War game and the things like that, the ducks.
Don't rub
beavers.
it in.
So I look forward to that. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I just feel really good about where we're both going.
Yeah, I do too. I look forward to hearing you sing at the next EBSD All Hands meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Thanks.